Hey guys! We are going to have a fun video for you guys this week. We are going to be talking about the 5 nitty-gritty details that you need to get under control and get it figured out before you can head out for RV life on a shoestring budget. Let's do this.
All right, we're ready.
We're doing the 5.
Let's go.
Let's do the 5. Number 1 is going to be your permanent address. This is a question we get asked all the time.
All right, so here's what we did. We went into the funnel and we set up a permanent address at the same time so that when we were in the funnel, we didn't get any mail there.
You better explain what the funnel is.
Okay, the funnel is where we downsized from our house into a 2-bedroom condo for about a year and, 14 months. And then we went full-time in our RV. So at that funnel, at that 2-bedroom condo, no mail, okay? Right. So we had an address.
Because we knew it was so temporary.
Yeah, we didn't want to change addresses every 2 weeks. So what we did instead was we said, okay, this is our permanent address. What did we do? We set up a P.O. box, but it's a P.O. box with service, okay? So we can actually make a phone call and say, anything in our mailbox? Can you forward it to a new address, and we'll give them an address and pay them to do that? It's a service,
it's pretty awesome, yeah.
They're agents for us. Yeah. They'll sign for packages. So there's people there during business hours. That's what we did.
So
and we got it on our driver's license, but we'll talk about that in a minute.
So we have had people ask us and tell us that in certain provinces in Canada, now you guys know we're Canadian.
Yeah.
So most of this video is going to be geared towards Canadians who want to do full-time RV life. But some of it will apply to the States. You be the judge of that. But anyway, so a lot of provinces have a rule that says that you have to have a permanent residential address in order to get your pension check, in order to have a driver's license. Healthcare, exactly. So if that's the case in your province and you are planning on going full-time RV life, you are hoping to pull up all the stakes, pull up all the roots. You're not going to have a house. You're going to be living in your Class A, your Class C, your truck and camper, whatever it is. My recommendation would be to relocate. Like, just change provinces. Yep. If you are in Ontario and Ontario says you're not allowed to do that, go to a province that says you are allowed to do that. Yeah. Because really, you're not losing anything. You're not an Ontarian anymore. You're a nomad. You're
going to be without those physical roots.
Yeah.
So relocating is not a problem. Now, there's other ways to do this, you know.
There are.
You can have a son, a daughter. You can have a mother or a father or a brother or a sister, and they say, sure.
Just use our address. And you can do that.
Put a couple things in our basement, and that's our address.
I was going to say, if you feel like you need to make it more legitimate, then say, look, when I'm not living in my trailer, I'm living at this address. So it's a place where you would go and visit for a couple of weeks. Maybe they have a spare bedroom. Maybe you just sleep on the floor, but maybe some of your stuff is there. Yeah. So it's a way for you to say, look, when I'm not traveling, this is where I stay, without having to own property, without having to rent an extra apartment that you're never going to be in.
Now, I know the government agencies love to ask questions that you can't answer. Okay?
All the time.
All the time. When is the last time you ever held a firearm? As if I could know that answer. Come on. Exactly. Oh no, you have to answer it or you can't, whatever. And it's like, well, then you have to, come on. You're asked questions that don't fit anymore. So you have to sometimes, when it comes to those situations, be a little creative. Like, where's your permanent address? And then you give them your brother's address because that's my permanent address.
So I remember one time, Kent, we went to vote.
Yes.
And they said, what is your...
The way they worded
it was, what is your residential address? Because without a residential address, they won't let you vote.
Yes.
And I just said my permanent address... Hang on.
I don't think we even answered it.
I said my permanent address is, and I gave them the address of our P.O. box because that is our unit number. That is the address where we get all of our mail. That's where you can contact us. That's what's on my driver's license.
It's our only address.
It is truly our only address. So they wanted a residential address, and I just confirmed by saying my permanent address is, and I gave them that information. And that was acceptable. Because it's on my driver's license, there's no question.
And with me, if somebody asks me, what is your permanent address where you actually live, I would pull up my driver's license and put it down in front of them and say, you're good. It's my only address I have.
Now
So-
that can be tricky. Like I said, in some provinces, they will not let you use a box number for your driver's license. They really want a residential address. If that's the case, like Kent said, get a friend or a family member that is in agreement with what's going on.
That doesn't move every 12 months.
That's right. That you can use their address. And
Yeah.
truly, you want to be integral about all this, right?
For sure.
We're not saying to lie or to do anything shady.
Yeah,
We're
because we
just-
did have a comment that
Yeah.
said, do you tell them that you're living full-time on the road and that you don't actually have an address and that you lie about it? And it's like, no,
No, you just
no.
clarify what needs to be clarified.
You need to satisfy their question.
Yeah.
That's the goal. Okay? Maybe you could use a church as your permanent
Yeah,
address and you could
that's
say,
possible.
where do you live? I live in God's house.
That's right.
Anyways, we were...
Business is another one.
business,
if you have
an
a
agency,
business
yes.
address that you've been using for your business,
Yeah.
you can use that as your permanent address.
Yep. And this, again, this will bug certain agencies. I know. Certain. My uncle, he lived in El Cajon down in San Diego, but he never used his El Cajon address as a place to receive his mail. He only ever used his business downtown San Diego.
Yeah.
And it would drive certain agencies bonkers. I need where you live. No,
and
you
he
don't.
would say, no, you
says,
do
"No,
not
you
need
do not
to
know
know
that."
my residential address.
That's
you never
secret.
need to know that. That's
That is
private
my information.
Anyway.
Where I get my mail is, and they would be bothered by it because they couldn't come knocking at his door.
Yes. Exactly.
Anyways, another answer to that same question is we went down to the States. We met up with a family down in California, and they were a little bummed out. Okay? See, they were getting the label homeless put on them, and it was really bumming them out. And this is our first year, and this was their first year living full-time in an RV. And I said, guys, you're not homeless. You're home free.
I like that. I like that different shift of perspective. I'm not homeless. I'm home free.
There's your house.
I have a
your
house.
house is right there.
Exactly.
So,
all right.
It's all good.
Yeah. All right, number 2 is your internet provider. This is something that everybody asks, what am I going to do about internet while I'm living on the road?
Yeah, I'm just checking my internet provider.
Okay, sounds good.
Yep.
Take it away, Ken. This is totally his bag more than
So
mine.
we have a shared plan, and we use Rogers in Canada, and we now have over 75 gigs of data per month. It's the right price. It's not a big deal. And we also have some other data that we borrow a Wi-Fi and pay for it every month too, a MiFi, something like that. And so when we're at the campground, we've got all the data covered. And a lot of people are really anxious about that. But you know what? When I unplug from the Ethernet cable and the high-speed Wi-Fi, what am I going to do? Well, I've met at least 10 people in the last 3 months that have Starlink. Mm-hmm. So that's the new,
seems to be pretty popular.
up and coming, very popular choice. If that's what you need, check it out.
Yeah, exactly. And you may pay a little more for your data if you're going to do data roaming, if you're going to add more, what is that called to the package, the data amount.
Adding more data.
More data to your program, to your plan.
That's what it's called.
So just consider that part of your rent,
Yeah.
right? You're not paying a mortgage, you're not paying rent, you are paying extra for your internet, but that's okay. Another thing in the States is...
Make the call and say, I need more data. What choices do you have for me? Don't just keep paying 5 gigs per month more and get 40 of those.
Get a bigger
it's too
package.
expensive.
Yeah. Another thing in the States that we used is Visible.
Yeah, that was excellent. That is a Verizon product. It's a standalone company called Visible. And we, for $40 US a month, had unlimited data. And that was amazing. We could hotspot one device. And if you have friends that sign up for Visible and you connect that, now it gets down to about $25 US a month. Mm-hmm. We liked that. Yeah. That was excellent.
All right, the third topic that we want to talk to you about today is, of course, mail. What do you do about your mail?
What about getting your mail?
Yeah, how do you get it when you're traveling from here to here to here to here and you're always on the move?
Good question. Key number 1, make sure that you get less mail.
That's right, exactly. You want to put everything as much as possible online. So you're going to use e-post, e-bill, whatever your service is that you want to do, get everything online so that you're not having to receive anything paper.
You don't want a stack of mail like this every single week that you need to go through and find out which are the ones that actually are important. You don't care about the Safeway flyer and the
Costco flyer
and the Costco book. You know, you can look at it when you need to.
Cancel all your magazine subscriptions and just buy them at the store once in a while.
There is another way to get rid of all of that, and that is to transfer from selling your house, living in a funnel, having your mail at a agency, and the agency goes, these are the important things. Oh, and by the way, for Publishers Clearinghouse, you don't have to give them a forwarding address. They can just say, undeliverable. And you'll get rid of a whole bunch of stuff.
No, then you won't win your millions and millions of rich dollars.
You won't get the email that the mail on it that has Ed McMahon's face on it anymore. I don't know if they even do that anymore.
I just want to make a note here. The agency that we use is the UPS store.
Yeah.
So in Canada, that's what we use. And I know there are other ones in the States and other places in Canada, but UPS is the one that has been working really well for us.
Yes.
Another thing you can do is Amazon lockers. So if you're making an Amazon order, you can just send it to a locker that's close to where you happen to be that week. So that is locker number 2. That's it. Close that one. Open locker number 1. This is like, it's like winning a game show. All right. That's it. How fun is that? If we can ever get our stuff shipped to Amazon lockers, we do, because this is amazing. Now, you can't get super huge items, but if it fits in here, you're good to go that week. So that is helpful. Another thing is most Canada post offices, and in the States we found this as well, general delivery. So just find the address of your local post office in the area that you are and get your stuff sent to general delivery. I think it's your name, care of general delivery, and then whatever the address is for that particular post office. And then track the package so you know when it comes in. Go in, say, I'm here to pick up my mail from general delivery. And that's worked well for us.
That worked for us in Seaside, Oregon, and in Okotoks, Alberta.
And in Cultus Lake.
Yeah,
a few different places we've used
so it does work.
So that works really well. And lots of people don't even know that it's an option.
That's right.
Another thing you can do is just get your friends or family to forward your mail. So again, like if you are using that, say it's your daughter's address, for your permanent address, get your mail sent there. When it gets a certain amount, fits in an envelope, ship it to wherever you're going to be for the next week or two. And that's another way to take care of that.
And the best part about an agency is you say, is there any mail for me from? And they'll go, nope. And then you know that your important piece that you're waiting for, driver's license renewal, passport, you know that it's not in that stack. So you're not thinking, oh, that stack is stale and I need that. It's like, hey, it's not in there yet.
Yeah, exactly.
So then you don't have to worry.
Yeah. Is that it for mail? Yeah,
that's it for mail.
All right, let's go to the next one.
So when it comes to your vehicle insurance, I'm going to talk about, first of all, your car. You can keep using the same one, but just make sure that you tell them the style of use that you're going to use with it. If it's being towed 4 down, you're going to be clicking on some kilometers each time you tow and drive around. So you might tell your insurance broker, by the way, I'm not sure how many kilometers this year, but it's not for business. It's more for pleasure. But it might be a little bit more, maybe a little less kilometers. How can we make sure I'm still covered? Yes, and your motorhome insurance. Now, there's a few different ways to do this. I just said I need an RV insurance, and I was talking to my broker, and he says, oh, no problem. And he gave me, with the year and model and everything, here's your answer. It was very few questions, and I got full insurance on it, and I just renew it every single year.
Yeah, exactly. So ask questions. The other thing I would say is find out exactly what you need, because we're talking RV life on a shoestring budget here. So you don't necessarily want the most expensive insurance package, and you don't necessarily want like all the bells and whistles. So when you're talking to your broker, say, look, here's the deal. I want the cheapest whatever it is, the cheapest that I can get
Yeah.
by to have my vehicle legally on the road to make sure that I can get on with my life. So that's what you're looking for.
And if you find it really important, ask them, you know what, if I live in this for the next 2 years and I'm between houses, is that a problem?
Right. Yeah, you can always ask that question to clarify things.
And then they will answer the question, whether it's a problem or not.
Yeah.
And you might want to have content insurance that's bought some other way. I don't know. It depends on your situation.
Depends on your situation, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So this has always been a hard video for us to make because we're like, oh, it's so personal and so individual.
Yeah.
But vehicle insurance is one of those things that is personal. It's individual to every situation.
All
the
insurance.
age of your vehicle, the province you live in, how far are you going to drive, all that stuff.
Most insurance is personal. It's like life insurance, health insurance, all
Hang
that
on,
stuff.
We're going to go there in a second.
Oh, that's right.
But yeah, so basically what you're looking for is talk to a broker. Don't necessarily go to an insurance company right away. Go to a broker first.
Then they
They'll
can
go
shop
through the
for
list.
you.
They'll shop for you and they'll find out what you actually need. All right. Topic number 5.
Health insurance.
Yes,
How
medical.
many-
Okay,
Oh.
we're going to call this like health insurance, medical insurance / travel insurance.
Yes.
So it's kind of all wrapped into one. Go
Right,
ahead.
because when you're going across the country, you might be in one country and then
province?
all that stuff.
Yeah.
One country and then another country because people go through the States to drive through across Canada sometimes.
Exactly.
It happens. You never know. There could be a flood. Anyways, so you want your medical insurance that provides more than just your universal health care of the province to be adequate. So
Okay.
when you
before we move on from the provincial health care,
just so
let's
people
just cover that first.
just so people that are not familiar with Canadian health insurance,
Right.
if you're not familiar with Canadian health insurance, here's how it goes in the province of Alberta and BC that we're both familiar with, is that because we're residents of this province, we can walk into the hospital, we can say, oh, I'm not feeling well, I need something for my whatever is ailing me, and my arm needs to be reattached, my ear is swelled up, and it doesn't cost out of pocket.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah. Exactly.
That was our experience in Yukon also.
Yeah.
Because we actually have that little card we pull out of our wallet that says Alberta Healthcare with a number.
And in order to keep that valid, you do have to stay. You're supposed to stay in the province for 5 months every year.
Yeah.
For Alberta. Now it is different in every province, so you need to do your research and find out from your provincial government what the requirements are for your provincial health care.
That's right, because you don't want to let that drop off and say, oh, well, I was out of overseas for 2 years and now I don't have provincial health care.
Yeah.
You want to keep that, because then when you go to BC, you pull out your Alberta health card and they still go through the computer. Up in Yukon, they still go through the computer. Now, when you're traveling, you can have over and above.
And you should. We think you should have over and above. If
Lots
you're
of
going
people
to the States,
say you should.
Yeah.
Now, in the States, different. That's,
you're saying
I'm talking
traveling
in Canada.
across Canada.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
In Yukon, if you want your ambulance fees covered, if you want your emergencies extras covered, hospital stay covered without any extra bills, then you have
private room versus So these are all the questions that you have to ask yourself and say, what's important to me? Do I want to have a lowest monthly payment for my insurance if I'm going to go over and above my provincial health and just risk it and whatever happens happens, or do I want to be completely insured, the most insured,
thousands of dollars
every month? There's probably somewhere in between that's comfortable for you. So just find out what that is and find out what your needs are.
Let's talk about the States.
Okay, so when you're traveling in the States and you're a Canadian and you want to have that travel insurance, so this is different than your provincial will cover you a little bit for incidences in the States, but it's so minimal. We do recommend getting travel insurance.
The people in the States may not know how to even bill and collect on it, which means it might even be less. See, we were in Vegas once. We were at the airport. Lisa's like, I'm feeling horrible. And we went to the clinic there, and I'm thinking, oh no, I might have to
I don't think we
come up with some more money.
I think we did not buy travel insurance that time that we went to Vegas. It was such a short little trip. We're like, we're going to zip down. We're going to come back. It'll be fine.
Went to the clinic, and the clinic lady says, oh, no problem. You're from Alberta? No problem.
Yeah.
We'll lay on the bed. We'll get you some meds. You'll be totally fine. I'll take care of you, and I'll give you this, and this. Some of it's all sample size, and I'll just send a bill to Alberta Health, and they'll cover it.
She said they covered every time. So
every time.
In that case, we didn't need any extra insurance.
I was like, wow.
Do the research.
That was good care.
Okay, so when you're heading down to the States, one thing that Kent and I are looking into right now, we haven't actually done this yet, but I just want to give this as an option for you to research, is signing up with one of the American group medical insurance companies. Yeah, that's a possibility.
That's what we're looking at.
As far as the research I've done so far says that yes, you can be a Canadian and sign up with an American group insurance.
Yeah.
There are some restrictions, like the one I was looking at said that they will not send payment across the border. But if you're in the States, you can collect your payment, or if you have a friend in the States, and they can collect it for you and then forward it on to you or put it in your PayPal or whatever. Anyway, so that's an option. And the last thing that we recommend for the whole medical travel insurance is to check out the Canadian Snowbirds Association website. They have a lot of information there. They have already worked with different insurance companies to get you guys the best deal as a Canadian snowbird.
Yep.
And yeah, that's Snowbirds. What is it? Snowbirds.org.
Snowbirds.org. And it's the Canadian Snowbirds Association.
Yeah. So we do recommend doing that. Maybe sign up as a member, and then you get all the special deals and all that kind of stuff.
So,
and they have tons of information on there.
Or just go to your travel broker, whether it's BCAA or wherever you buy your car insurance from, or Costco, and say, I need travel insurance. And tell them what kind of travel insurance. I need 5 months, I need 3 months, whatever. And they'll give you the rates and they'll give you the quotes, and then you'll just buy it and you'll know exactly what you will receive and what you won't receive.
That is an expensive way to go.
It can be, and the older you get, the more medical challenged you are, the more expensive it is.
And the longer you stay, they have these different categories. If you're only down there for 12 days or 45 days versus like 75 days or 100 days or whatever, it gets more and more expensive the longer you're down there. So
it would actually be cheaper to fly home for one day and then fly back and continue and reset that period of time out of country than to actually pay out of pocket.
Oh, another thing I learned when we were doing that way that you were saying to do it is that they said, what was it now? It was in my brain and now it's gone. No, I hate it when that happens. What did you say? You said you could fly home, you could reset it.
Yeah. Oh, they'll fly a friend down?
No, I could tell them that story.
Okay. Yes, I was buying my insurance and my broker says, and if you're in San Diego and you get really, really ill and you are critical, this policy will even fly a loved one down to say, be at your side, and that'll be part of the package. And I said, anyone I choose. So I'm like, well, I think I would choose Shania Twain. She can fly down and she can be at my side and say, it's okay, it's going to be fine. And Lisa's laughing and the insurance broker is turning a couple shades of white.
That's not what I meant.
But hey, anybody who said,
okay.
anybody I want, I'm delusional. I'm ill. Go ahead.
Oh, that's too funny. Oh, what was it? They said.
So guys, I hope that helped to put a few details down on your structure. But just remember the mentality, okay? I had a great-grandfather that came over to Canada and homesteaded, and when the derailment happened and livestock were lost and implements were lost, they still made it out to the homestead and they still set up and they still made it. That mentality has to be a little part of your mentality of saying, hey, I'm going to live full-time in an RV and whatever happens, I'll take care of it and I'll just be prepared for it, or I'll just figure it out.
You kind of have to have that pioneer spirit, that adventurous spirit that says, I know I'm living my life outside the box.
Yeah.
I know it's not normal. I know it's going to ruffle a few feathers down at the driver's license place or at the pension office, but just do it anyway and figure it out and work through that and stay calm. Don't get angry. People don't understand what you're doing. So you have to say, look, this is my life. I know it's unconventional, but I'm sure there's a way to do it. When we were doing that voting situation, was it us? Maybe it was my dad, actually. My dad had a conversation with a guy when he went to vote. Same thing. They kind of harassed him a little bit about his address. And he just said, so you're telling me I can't vote? I'm a Canadian citizen. And they're like, oh, no, sir. You definitely can vote. We'll just have to figure this out. So
yeah, and they did.
and they figured it out. So there's always a way.
There's always a way.
Yeah.
And so the day you get your permanent address on your driver's license is a really good day.
That's a really good day.
You'll be looking at it and you'll be like, I can't believe it.
Woohoo, I'm free.
Woohoo. So anyways, it's a good day.
Exactly. Awesome, you guys. Thanks so much for hanging out with us. If you have missed some of our other videos about RV life on a shoestring budget, you can click on the links in the description below. We would totally appreciate a thumbs up, a like, a subscribe.
Yes, please.
Share it with someone who
Follow
is
along.
thinking about doing full-time RV life in Canada. And
one more thing.
oh, one more thing.
We have met a lot of people that are
Right.
full-time RVing, and they have figured it out.
In Canada.
In Canada.
So there aren't a lot of YouTubers that are doing it.
Don't
but
look at 4
are
people
doing
and
it.
say, I guess I can't. But they
People are
figured it
doing
out,
it.
but I guess I can't. No. Everybody can figure
We meet
this
them
out.
all the time. So
Yes.
if they can do it, if we can do it, then you can do it. You guys,
Yes.
thanks for hanging out today. My name is Lisa.
My name's Kent. We're Living Light RV.
We're grabbing life by the tail. We're bringing you guys with us. We're bringing you all of our experiences so that you can learn from that. And we want to hear your experiences too. Go ahead and leave a comment in the comment section below and let us know your best tips for all the nitty gritty details of RV life on a shoestring budget. You guys have a fabulous week and we'll see you next Friday.
Woo!
Try that again. Okay, now go.